Hey guys, my name is Ian Kunert, and I am here to talk to you a little bit about math and its importance and why you should think it. I know you're thinking, why are you talking about math? Man, math is awful. I hated math. I hated math too, but I think as you grow a little bit older, you realize that math is really, really important, and it's kind of everywhere around us, and we need to understand that. So let's get down to it. Is math cool? Is it lame? Is it useless? Is it, all the stuff we thought about it in high school? Yeah, is math cool? I probably can't convince you that math is cool, but I think I can convince you that it's useful. And to do that, I'm going to try and relate it to something that we all love, and that's our phones. We all love our phones. I love my phone. And our phone only exists because of math. And I know that seems like an overstatement, but really, when you trace back the history of computers, and our phones are computers, you can see that really the only reason we have a phone or computers or any of the technology that we love so dearly is because of math. So let's get into it. The first computer, we got to go way back. This wasn't even an electronic computer. This dude, Charles Babbage, made a very mechanical computer. You can think of kind of like a car. It was all just metal parts, and you turned a crank, and it would do an equation, just over and over and over again. The more you cranked the crank, and so that leads us to eventually this guy Conrad Zuse invented the first electronic programmable computer. And ironically, the reason he invented it was because he was at an aircraft factory and he had a job where he had to do math over and over and over again. He thought it was mind numbing, so he thought, I'm going to invent a computer that does math for me. But to do that, he had to find a way to speak to the computer. Not literally speak to the computer, but metaphorically communicate with the computer. Let it know what you wanted it to do. And in order to do that, he stumbled upon binary, which is an old mathematical language that was created by this man named Gottfried Leibniz. And I'm sorry if I totally butchered that name, but basically, binary is a mathematical language based upon only two numbers, and those numbers are 0 and 1. And you've probably seen binary before, and it's been in the Matrix. When all the green numbers are falling, that's binary. In this language, zeros are used to represent off, while ones are used to represent on. And by the computer calculating electrons in certain parts as on and no electrons as off, you can spell things out with this kind of code you're seeing here. And using that, we're able to pseudo talk to computers, kind of, in a way. Again, not literally talk to computers, but get the computers to understand what we're trying to tell them. And you're thinking, well, that's old stuff, right? That dude had curly hair. He invented that stuff way forever ago. We're not still using binary, right? We are still using binary. In fact, binary is really the only thing that we know of. And it doesn't seem that we're going to change anytime soon. In fact, all that stuff that I talked about was kind of the basis to get to your smartphone. Your smartphone is really just a computer. It's a very condensed computer that we can put in our pockets, but it is a computer nonetheless, which means there is math always happening in the computer, and there's always numbers being churned, and outside of even the ways that I've just talked about math being used, math is still used inside of your phone. So if I convinced you that math is important yet, I probably haven't convinced you that math is cool yet. I don't think I'll ever be able to convince you that math is cool, but math is super important. Probably the most important thing ever. Look at it. Math was the sole reason computers were invented in the first place because Conrad Zuse hated doing the math. It really is important. And apart from even the use of binary, there are also numerous other parts of computers where math is involved, either directly with the computer or involved in making those parts. Calculating voltage for resistors and certain parts of a computer and how much voltage they need to operate at optimum levels and all sorts of stuff. Math is all around us, and that sounds so cliche, but it's that old saying, if you think you can escape math, you can't. It's everywhere. It is kind of the basis for how we understand the world around us through physics and everything like that. That's also math. The only reason that things that we love, video games, CGI, all of this stuff can exist is because of math, and we'll take a look at that. So video games and CGI, they both use 3D models, and 3D modeling software is all about math. It may not seem like it on the surface, but underneath what you're looking at, the computer is calculating all of these vectors and the angles they're supposed to they're supposed to shoot off of the points in space and how long they're supposed to get to connect to other points, and it's very mathematical. We don't necessarily see that side of it, though, so it's easy to be removed and not see that math plays into it. And all games use math. The systems of those games use math. I mean, I'm not talking about this game. Those are math games. We all know math games. But games use math as the systems. So Super Mario Brothers, you might know Super Mario Brothers. The jump that Mario does is a physically rendered jump, meaning that Shigeru Miyamoto actually wrote a physics formula into the code to calculate Mario's distance, his height, and his arc. I mean, it wasn't true physics, but it was a sense of physics, and that's what created the platformer genre and solidified it as what we know. So say we're trying to make a model for a game or through CGI movie or something. We want to make a shape. Say we want to make the torus, and this shape right here is a torus. The computer is going to use this formula right here at the bottom of the screen as the base for making that shape. I might not have to input that formula, but it's going to use it. So am I ever going to use math? Or is the computer just always going to use math for me? Well, the more I grow up, I realize it, yes, I'm going to use math. I'm always going to use math. You're going to use math whether you like it or not. It's just going to happen. Accept it, and you'll be much better off in life. It's everywhere, and it's used in everything, no matter how insignificant you can't really see that math is into it. But once you start thinking about it, math is involved in everything that we touch in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's in making it or whatever. We all love math, and that's what I'm figuring out. We just don't like doing the math, but we all love math, and we love what it can do for us. And this is a perfect picture that I thought summed up how you can't escape math ever. Even if your goal is to eliminate math, you're still gonna need math to try and eliminate math, and that's perfect. And so I hope it hasn't been very long, but I hope I let you understand the importance of math a little bit more.